Hello darlings, welcome back to another season of Dining Through the Decades. In this fourth season, we're going to be exploring a variety of holiday dishes from various decades, and for this episode, we're going to be starting in 1969 with a Black Forest cake. I'm very excited to try this. I've never made it before, so let's get into it. I've got 6 eggs here, and I'm just going to start by separating the yolks from the whites. I've just put a cup of sugar in, I've got half a cup of butter, and I'm just going to cream this together. I'm just going to take this over to the other side of the kitchen where I can cream the butter and the sugar together. Oh, why is this always so messy? I have no idea why every time I cream butter and sugar together, it's just a mess. There's sugar everywhere. Oh, what an arm workout. Now that I've done a really terrible job at creaming the butter and sugar together, I'm going to add the egg yolks one at a time and beat it all together. Alright, we're going to go back to the other side of the kitchen and add in the rest of the ingredients. I've just melted the chocolate here. It's called for semi-sweet chocolate melted and cooled. I've melted it, but if I let it cool, it's going to set. And I understand that maybe if I put this in, the egg would harden if it's hot, like it will cook the egg. But if I let this cool, I'm just going to be putting in just a block of chocolate again. So, I don't know, maybe I'll stir it really quickly. I'm not sure. We won't know till we try, so why don't we? We're doing it. I'm just mixing it quickly and I think I'm alright. Oh, it looks good. Oh, this is going to be so rich. I have not cooked the egg. It's a success. Wow, it smells delicious. Really, really nice. The recipe calls for Kirsch. I'm not sure whether I'm saying that correctly, but I looked it up and it's the same as cherry brandy. So we got ourselves some cherry brandy. At this point in the recipe, it calls for 2 tablespoons, and we're going to be adding some more later on for the icing, I think. Whew. That is strong, but you can smell the cherries. Oh, actually, that smells sweet. So 2 tablespoons of this. And I'm just giving that a thorough mix to make sure that all that cherry brandy is mixed through. And then I blitzed up my hazelnuts that I had. It calls for them to be grated with a mouli grater. I don't have that, so I've just substituted for blitzing mine up. So plain flour and toasted hazelnuts. And I'm just going to add that in here. And after this is all combined, I'm going to beat the egg whites until stiff and then fold that into this mixture. Oh, this is nice. I always love when recipes call for a nut flour in there. It always makes it so lovely and decadent and rich, but also tastes really healthy as well, which is nice. And hazelnuts go so well with chocolate. Hazelnuts are just a match made in heaven. Hazelnuts and chocolate. Now that that's all mixed, I'm going to go beat the egg whites. I am not the most amazing baker. I don't bake very often. I always gravitate towards savory foods. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to beat the egg whites in this small bowl. There are 6 egg whites in here. Hopefully it's not going to overflow and I'm going to have egg whites flowing all over the kitchen. We will see. All right, here we go. It is almost about to overflow from the bowl, but I don't know whether I can be bothered to get out another bowl yet because I might just get away with it. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna run the risk and I'm gonna keep blending. Success, I did it. It did not overflow. Okay, I've got the egg whites here. I'm gonna fold this into my mixture and we're gonna get it in the oven. And just gently folding this together. It smells really good and the recipe looks amazing. And it would be lovely for it to turn out really well because James's friend from New Zealand is coming over tonight, so it'll be a nice little dessert if this works out. I've got my greased and floured baking tin here. Oh, it smells so good. The hazelnuts just make it smell like, oh, Nutella or something. It smells amazing. I'm gonna bake this in the oven for about an hour. All right, the cake is done. I've been poking it with the cake tester to make sure that it's fully cooked, and I think it should be good. Comes out clean, and it also says in the recipe that it's okay for it to crack. I'm just gonna let this cool in the cake tin for about 10 minutes, and then I'll take it out and let it further cool on the rack. I've got some maraschino cherries here, and I've got the cherry brandy, and we're gonna be mixing this together and making a thickened cherry filling to go on the cake. I'm gonna drain out all of the liquid. I've got almost half a cup of the maraschino cherry liquid, and then I'm going to top it up with the brandy up until 3/4. Okay, so I'm just going to add the cherry mixture into here. And I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm just going to thicken this mixture. It says to save 13 cherries, but I was meant to have twice as many cherries as I have, but I'm just going to work with what I've got. So I'm just going to put, I don't know, a few in here. And then I'm going to slice up the rest. I'm just going to take the stems off, and then they can go into our sauce once it's thickened. Forgot to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. Oh my gosh, all the seeds. Alright, now that I've chopped those cherries, my mixture's thickened, I can add that in. I'm just going to loosen this in the pan and then take this out. The recipe calls for chocolate curls, which is what goes around the outside of the cake. I don't have that, so I'm just going to grate chocolate, and hopefully one of these grating options is going to work somewhat similarly. I think I've got to do this. I'm just going to whip some cream together, and I'm going to add a bit of sugar as I go. I've got some leftover whipped cream from a dessert last night. This also has a little bit of cream cheese in it, but I feel like it's not significant enough to taste any difference. So I'm just going to add that in and whip it all together, and then we can start icing the cake. It calls for 4 tablespoons of this cherry brandy, and I don't really know whether I want to do the full 4, so I think I'll just do 2 and see how it tastes. I've got my whipped cream here, I've got the cherry filling. Now I'm just going to slice into the cake. If I feel like I'm not going to get the 3 slices, I might just cut it in half. We'll see, we'll see. Okay. And the top is like so crispy that it's just falling off, so this is meant to be flipped over on the serving dish, so maybe it doesn't matter. We're not going to see this. I'm just going to take off the bottom. I'm going to try and do the full 3 layers. I don't think I'm going to evenly cut down this whole width. Alright, I'm going to flip this, okay, on the bottom like that. This has been the messiest cake and kitchen fiasco. Oh yes, I did it. Oh, I did it. I'm just spreading the cherry mixture over the top of the first layer. And then now I'm just doing a layer of whipped cream. Next one. This cake is still warm, so I'm hoping it doesn't totally melt the cream underneath. Then another layer of cream. I don't have any more cherry mixture. It didn't really go a long way because I only had half the amount of cherries required, but I think you'll still get to taste the cherries and it'll be really nice. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever made such an impressive cake. Yay, it looks so good. Okay, the star of this 1969 cookbook is actually the Black Forest cake on the front. So I'm gonna try and follow this as best as I can and make it maybe look almost as pretty as that. Oh my gosh, it's actually, it's melting out the side. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm gonna have to be quick. The cream is melting. Oh my gosh, maybe I've got to get this in the freezer. Oh my gosh, that is catastrophic. That is not good. Oh my gosh, okay. Oh, I'm such an idiot. I told you, me and cake making do not go. I don't know what it is. Why didn't I wait for it to cool down? I'm running out of time. I just don't think. The cake is looking a lot better after being in the freezer for a bit. I just took it out, finished icing the sides, and now I'm gonna put the cherries on top and the chocolate around the edge. Okay, this is the cake. It looks absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to try it. It's later on, it's fully chilled in the refrigerator. I'm ready to cut into it and taste test. Oh, that looks amazing. This looks so decadent. That is so nice. Honestly, it tastes healthy having that hazelnut meal in there. Yum. I feel like I don't often have an amazing result with cakes and something will be flat or something won't turn out in the end. But because this was such a small amount of flour, I couldn't screw it up. And having that beautiful, rich, dense hazelnut in there, roasted hazelnut I might add, really, really makes it delicious. So delicious. 10 out of 10. Would absolutely recommend making this for Christmas. This was such a lovely festive dessert. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for another episode of Dining Through the Decades. Bye! I'm gonna add the egg yolks. I'm gonna go beat the egg.
You're not Gordon Ramsay, you haven't?
Of course I'm not Gordon Ramsay. Help, James. Oh crap, this is really stressing me out. For some reason, I don't know, I was just thinking about crack jokes. Okay.
I want to know what's happening.
I have really bad reflexes. Okay.
You'll end up on FootWiki.